they're not of this earth. And that's what I would do.
Yeah.
If I was the government and I wanted to be super sneaky, I would have a bunch of my like really clever agents go and whistleblow, tell some stories, talk about people that have been abducted, talk about all these different things.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's real experiences. So I think there is something, because it exists throughout history, just like telepathy exists throughout history, and ghosts exist throughout history, and religion exists. There's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there that's distorted by our very slippery grasp on truth.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a very true assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also just too many stories from hundreds of years ago that are incredibly similar to the things that people are talking about today.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's interesting to me, like Jacques Vallée. And
exactly. I just finished his third book.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the mind. But he's great because he's not a believer. Yeah. He's very skeptical about a lot and highlights a lot of the bullshit to the point where you're like, okay, what's true?
Yeah.
What
I mean, those
true?
are the people you have to trust, though, I think.
The only ones. The only ones you can trust.
Yeah.
Because there's too many people that are out there telling you, I know what's happening. We're about to experience a contact. All the people, the Joint Chiefs of Staff have been notified. And like, those people I don't want to talk to. Like, you shut the fuck up. Yeah. You don't know anything. There's no way you know. Right. You're just taking advantage of this very weird moment in time where people aren't sure. But there's all this discussion of this phenomena, and you've grifted yourself to this.
Right, exactly.
And there's a lot of those people out there.
Yeah, and it's clickbait, and it's this, and their profit,
because they're gross.
No, but the true intellectual people is looking at the consciousness side of this. I think are fascinating. That's what's going on here.
I think that's where it is.
Yeah, it's a conscious. I mean, that's why, I wasn't into the UAP stuff until people started saying to me, like, you should at least start looking at some of these great thinkers, because a lot of this has to do with consciousness and what are we and why are we here, and like what's a hyper object, right? Like a lot of stuff that I'm like, what is going on? So you start reading about it and understanding, okay, like where things might converge is an exploration of consciousness.
Yeah. And our consciousness is confined by identity. It's confined by so many different things, so many walls that we put up, and ego and blinders and self-delusion. There's all these just weird things that we have in our mind because we don't necessarily have a very good direction book of how to be a human.
Right.
You know?
Or what we're just limited to by our vision, right? Like if you were to talk to a dog and be like, hey, does this dog know about calculus, and does it know about like the whatever electoral college? Of course not. Like there's no way, there's no universe in which a dog would know about that stuff.
But it could smell a cat from 4 blocks away.
Exactly.
You ever see a dog just like this?
No.
In the air, they have insane noses. They can smell individual ingredients in a hamburger.
Wow, that's so fascinating.
And a bear is like 10 times stronger than that, which is bananas.
Amazing.
They can smell human beings hundreds of yards away.
Right.
Just a whiff of the wind, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, people, let's get the fuck out of here.
Well, and that's like, we don't have that, but like a dog doesn't have XYZ. What are we limited? We might not be able to see half of what's 100%. There, or conceive of it. So,
wave your hand above an earthworm. There's no idea what's going on.
There's no idea what's going on.
Yeah, like it doesn't need to.
Right.
It lives its life underground. Those senses are not necessary.
Right. And so that's the mystery, right? Yeah,
and our senses most likely have atrophied. Mm-hmm. That's the real thing. Is that there's a lot of talk from ancient. Whether it's ancient religious texts or of contact, of something communicating with you that's not physically there. Mm-hmm. And you got to wonder, like, was this really common for people? Like, there's so many descriptions of being contacted by something that's not there. Like, what was that before language normal?
Yeah. And was it physically someone contacted you, or was it in a mental space, right? Like, were you in this thought world, like almost you were astral traveling or whatever, right? Like, I mean, that's the question too, is can you be experiencing something in your mind that's not happening physically?
Right.
And I think that question is pervasive in the UAP world as well as in this like telepathy world.
Right. It's the birds flying around in unison. Like somehow or another, they're tuned in to some some pattern that they never collide. How do they not collide?
I know.
I mean, that's like so spectacular that you're literally hundreds of feet above the earth. If you
Yeah.
collide, you get knocked unconscious,
Yeah.
you're both dead. And no one collides ever.
And they're going fast. I mean,
Also,
imagine like
why would you do that? Like what benefit, evolutionary benefit, what natural survival benefit would there be in a bunch of you flying around in weird patterns in the sky? Like, look at that.
look at that. Here we go.
That is so
One
beautiful.
thing I've heard is they just look like a bigger thing. So it's
That's gotta be it, right? You
What,
look like a big monster.
Yeah,
But
they
that
get
doesn't scare off fish. They go right to that big thing.
Well.
That's the problem, you know? When tuna see that big thing, they're like, fuck yeah. Look how crazy that is.
I mean, it's so
But why would
beautiful.
that be a benefit to like being a bigger thing? That would make you a bigger target. It's just
so cool.
weird. It's so weird. Like no one's falling.
No one's
How come
hitting each
they're not
other.
colliding? How come they're not falling?
And doesn't it look like art? I mean, it really is like an elaborate dance.
Have you ever seen wolves hunt?
No.
They communicate. And we don't
That I
know.
believe,
We don't know
yeah.
what they're doing. We don't know how they do it, but they decide.
Telepathy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something because they flank animals. They know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like they know to chase animals
Yeah.
into canyons, and
Yeah.
then they get on the other side of it,
Yeah.
and they
Yep.
capture them when they're trying to escape.
It's telepathy. I mean, one of the teachers that I've come to love so much, and she was also in England, she said that the first time she realized something like this was going on, she was working at a school where the individuals weren't speaking. And she saw people of like a bunch of her class playing at recess. And she's like, it was a fully orchestrated game. Like this one needed to go here and this one needed to go here. And they were doing this and that. She's like, but they weren't speaking.
Do you think the Zuckerberg Musk was ever real? Was it ever even slightly real?
I don't know. That to me is the most.
Could
silly.
you ask him, please?
Zuckerberg is legit. He trains hard. He trains with legit guys. He trains all the time. He's very smart and very obsessed by it, and he's like legitimately training. He's significantly smaller than Elon. Elon's a big guy, but that only goes so far, especially if you don't have any endurance.
But does Elon? What do you think Elon's fighting skill strategy would be like?
But he took karate when he was younger.
So would he come karateing?
I don't know. I don't think it was ever going to happen. I mean, I was entertaining it because I think it would be fun if it did happen. And Elon said he would do it, and Zuckerberg said he would do it. But like, I don't know how the guy tweets as much as he does. How the fuck could you train for a fight? I mean, how do you run SpaceX and Tesla and the Department of Government Efficiency and Starlink?
Joe,
Like,
he's your friend. You know him better than we do. How the fuck does he
I
do
don't know
it?
how he does it, and I'm his friend. I don't know how he does it. I don't understand it. I've never seen anybody who knows how to manage time better than that guy.
Yeah. But
And he's also has like 100 kids. Like I don't get it. He's a different type of human.
I just love the idea of people that don't ever fight having to suddenly have a fight, right? Just like because people who've never fought but suddenly get them
Yeah.
Okay, here's another secret. Don't when I do scroll, I look for street fights with people who don't know how to fight. or drunk people fighting is funny
Yeah.
too. But okay, Elon and Zucker, Mark, are going to fight. Okay, let's say it's going to really happen. They both train, but they're not fighters. So however much they train, they're still running their other businesses. Now the fight starts, and for about 20 seconds, they're going to have some tactics that their trainers have been, and then it's all going to go out the fucking window.
It won't go out the window with Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's a real martial
But
artist.
has he ever really fought?
Yes, he's had jiu-jitsu matches. He hasn't
Okay.
fought a kickboxing match, but he does
he's
a
had
lot
like
of sparring.
A full spar-
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
he could do a 2-minute or a 3-minute round
100%. No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And also, he's very disciplined.
and stay true to his
Yes.
his what style of fighting?
Well, he trains in jiu-jitsu, but he also trains in mixed martial arts. So he does Muay Thai, he does everything. He's really obsessed with it.
Yeah, okay,
And he
I've
has
seen-
been for years.
Okay, so
Now, he's a legitimate
okay, but
martial
now
artist.
Elon's going to come out, and Elon's running SpaceX, and he's got the Dodge thing, and now he's going to take some time and focus on the fight.
It's not going to do it.
No, I
No,
don't. I think-
you don't have there's no way he has the time. Like, if you want to really prepare properly, you train twice a day, and you have to have recovery in between. So you have to get massages, you have to do red light
Yeah.
therapy, you have to do everything, especially if you're at his age. And you have to take hormones. You have to be on the ball. You have to take peptides. You have to. You have to really watch your nutrition. You have to really make sure you get enough sleep. All those things are out the window. He's not doing any of those things. He doesn't have the time to do any of those things.
No, it would have to be like a demonstration where they agree to how it's going to go.
But even then, there's no way he could be in condition for it.
Yeah.
There's no way. And so he did train with some of my friends. He trained with Lex Friedman. I think he trained with George St. Pierre as well. So I think he realized early on
his cardio wasn't going to get him there.
His cardio is non-existent.
What is harder on cardio than boxing / UFC, do you think? Like, I always say boxing, people don't understand how exhausting 40 seconds of sparring is. Like, I've never fought UFC. I've always felt the boxing, for some reason, is actually harder on the cardio. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong.
Yeah, definitely wrong.
Okay,
wrestling is the hardest.
Okay,
wrestling is number one.
But what else compares in terms of cardio and physical demanding to wrestling, UFC, boxing?
Maybe ultra running, maybe really crazy things where guys have to run like 300 miles.
But they don't have the anaerobic kind of exhaustion and the
soccer takes incredible conditioning. And those guys are unbelievably fit.
Have you ever followed Aussie Rules football?
What if any possibility is there that there is some sort of advanced propulsion system technology that's being worked on in secret? And that they're trying to cover this up with this talk of aliens and alien tech and not of this world. And is it possible that there's some sort of very secret program that's going on in cahoots with some defense contractors that are developing advanced propulsion systems that they're using for these drones?
I mean, SpaceX, my company SpaceX has the most advanced rocket technology in the world. I think I'd know.
Right.
And to the best of my knowledge, there is not any magic. There's not like some super advanced propulsion technology.
There have been people who have theorized different gravity drives and different things. Is there anything that's ever gotten past the theoretical stage?
No.
Nothing.
Well, there's nothing even that I'm aware of that works in theory. It's not like I would like this to exist, to be clear. I would like this to exist. And I have from a security clearance standpoint, I have top secret. I have equivalent of like an all access pass from a security clearance standpoint. So I don't think they're hiding it from me, basically. I don't think they could.
Unless it's completely in these weapons manufacturing corporations.
I mean, I know these weapons manufacturing companies, like Boeing, Lockheed, and Northrop. I mean, yeah, they do some interesting things, but they do not have. There's no breakthrough that they have.
So
I'm confident they do not have a breakthrough.
When you hear people
like, why don't they just compete with SpaceX and make a better rocket? In which case, they can make. Why are they holding back on making a lot of money from beating SpaceX with better rockets?
My thought was that what if it's just a drone and you can't have a biological entity inside of it because it just bursts from the fucking speed that it's moving at? That a human couldn't tolerate the amount of force. So they're just drones.
I don't think so.
So what do you think people like Ryan Graves and Commander David Fravor...
I want cool things to exist.
Right.
Do I want UFOs to exist? Yes, I want UFOs to exist because that would be really interesting.
Of course, everybody does.
Yeah.
It would be cool.
It's a more boring world where UFOs don't exist. Or like flying, like advanced propulsion stuff doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, that's more boring. It'd be more interesting. If it did exist, I'd like it to exist. I hope we find something. But I have not seen, SpaceX launches 90% of all satellite mass to orbit. So if you take all of Earth's rocket launches, my company has a 90% market share of Earth. China does about 5%, and the rest of the world does, including the Boeing, Lockheed, Northrop, and everyone, does 5%. So why wouldn't they use this to defeat SpaceX?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Why
sense.
would they hold
No,
back?
listen, that's why I asked you. It would make sense. What do you think that these people are
We're launching
seeing?
a rocket every 2 days.
But what do you think these people are seeing when you have reliable people like Commander David Fravor, who had that infamous Tic Tac experience off the coast of San Diego, where they got this thing on video, they tracked it going 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 feet in like a second.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then they also have video evidence of this thing accelerating at a great speed, eyewitness accounts from 2 different
Okay.
jets.
Sure. I mean, does anyone have a high-res video or photo of this thing?
Well, there's a video of this thing where they're locked onto it, and then it takes off. It shoots off
Is it
out of the
high-res?
frame. No,
Okay.
no, it's like whatever the systems they used on fighter jets in 2004. Essentially, like Windows 95.
I mean, there's like somebody did a curve of like the resolution of UFOs and the resolution of cameras. The UFO resolution has stayed flat,
Right.
despite megapixels in cameras going like super high.
Well, according to Christopher Mellon,
Why are they still blurry?
Christopher Mellon, who worked in the State Department, said that they have high-resolution photos and videos of these things, and that's all
Okay.
that he's seen it. It's all locked away. Whenever people say that to me, I'm like, don't even tell me that then. Don't unless you have
Just leak it for God's sake.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Like let it slip.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple photos. They're grainy. There's not one thing that I've ever looked at and go, holy fuck, that's it.
Look,
That's
I mean,
what I've been
you
looking for.
You could ask our Grok AI right now to create a high-res image of an alien spacecraft, over Austin,
Yeah.
and it's going to do a great job.
Yeah.
So why do we not have at least that?
Right.